your trimming marks. You can take a wooden rib or a silicone rib, and ideally, you would lug this back down with clay, and then you can compress this surface, and you can get it to be really smooth and uniform that way. So if you don't want those trimming marks to be showing, it's already a lot closer. That tiny bit that I just did. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick version here. Why don't you all talk me through the steps again. So what do I do first?
First, examine your mold to see where you want to start trimming at, and notice how thick you want it to be.
Yeah, we'll check that bottom thickness so we know how much we need to trim. Okay, now what? Yeah, so we got to center it, so I'm gonna flip it upside down. I'm gonna get it close. I like to do more work with the wheel off. So this is kind of a good example that like this rim, this bowl's actually not circular. Does everyone see how it's just a little bit off? This is probably more circular than the rim, and that's from me picking it up. So I'm gonna really focus on this part of it to center. And I think I just got it with that one. Okay, so I'm centered, turn the wheel off. How do I put these on to hold the bowl down? Straight down. Super important. Right here, straight down. Important to work across from yourself. Whenever you add slip to clay, you're also adding water again. So this is actually a little bit softer than it was a moment ago. And we'll see if that shows up in the trimming in a second. So I got the bowl down. What's my first step with this tool? You remember?
Thick side and little side out.
Like this?
No.
Like this? Like this, yeah. And then what? Do I just hold it here?
Yeah, right on the outside.
Yeah, just like right here. I can will the foot into being.
Just focus.
I mean, what do I do next? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Let me...
Under first.
Under? Like right here? Or what do you mean under? Here? Okay. So you can see what I'm doing a little more. So this is the first thing you want to do, is set the diameter of the foot. So I'm going to start, big end down, little end up, and I'm pushing in towards the center of the bowl. Now you can change this cutting angle too if you're not getting enough clay. Right, this is going to give me a different cutting angle. And I'm only using one hand, but you should really have one hand in the center. And you can see my thumb, instinctively my left thumb is touching my right hand. And my elbows are also down. So I'm pushing in. I said I was going to make a different foot on this one. We're going to make the foot not quite as wide. So I'm going to go in further here and give myself a smaller diameter. These long ribbons are good. That's really what I want. Let's say that I gouge it. Does everyone see that little bit? Where I cut it a little bit more right here? This is probably going to happen. It's inconsistent pressure. Something else happens. The clay's not dry evenly. It's hard to fix, to be honest. So I hope that I can here. But usually the best way to fix that is to change the cutting angle, meaning this direction or this direction of your tool, and to put some inward pressure. And that's going to get you close. Okay, and you can start to work that out. So this is going to be the diameter of my foot. It's a lot smaller than the last one. I'm going to take some of this extra clay away here. And I'm also going to do a different type of foot. So I'm going to do a foot this time that rather than having a clear transition, so this foot's almost perpendicular to the bowl, giving myself a right angle, I'm going to do one that's a lot, has a curved transition. So I'm actually going to use the back end of this tool, which is already curved. And I'm going to start, trim up. Now I'm putting more pressure in and giving myself a foot like this. Now I like this type of foot a lot. It means your pot's not as even, but sometimes we can decide that the way it looks is as important or more important than the way it's used. My problem with making this kind of foot is that I always find myself starting fast, moving slow, and then ending fast, and I get all these little lines here, right in the middle where I change speed, and I'm trying to be really consistent with that. So I'm still working out a way to try and get that to be a little bit more fluid. I think I made it worse. That's a little better. I'm gonna also give myself a pretty harsh bevel right there. This is another historic bowl or foot that you would see maybe on some tea bowls, or at least that's what I think of them, or I think of them being present. So I'm gonna trim the inside. Again, thinking about that thickness of the rim, trying to match it. So I'm going straight down first to set that diameter. And I'm gonna start in the middle and roll my tool out towards the edge. Be careful not to trim through it. Doing something I said that to never do, which was trim the top. I'm gonna sure up this inside corner. And the foot's a little bit, can everyone see it's like a little bit uneven actually? So you're moving back and forth. I think that's okay. I am being quite particular about the way these lines look here. I learned from my last one that I want it to be more round on the bottom than I really had it. So I'm gonna spend some time there, almost throwing it like a rim. And then I'm gonna come back and redefine that edge. And now we're gonna look at it and see how even it is. I'm not sure that it is that even. No, it's okay. So the bowl's not totally round. The foot's not totally round. You can't really see it when it's not spinning, right? I mean, that looks like pretty even. And I'm not symmetrical. We're not symmetrical. I think it's okay if the bowls are not a little symmetrical. They can be extensions, of your experience in your life. They don't need to be this kind of idyllic object that exists only in a kind of vacuum. But I painted white slip-on and then I trimmed. So I wanted to show you that you can put slip-on first and then trim, and then you get a really clean, distinct color change right where you trim. And now you've also defined that trimming zone. So if I'm leaving tool marks, it also makes sense to kind of define that zone, which is why I've done that another way. When I glaze it, it means that I might not glaze it right here to show it off even further, okay? So I'm gonna pass this one around too. It's a little wet.